listening to some of these more seasoned ladies. Amen? You better start listening, because they didn't get where they are right now because they didn't know what they were doing. And listen, I don't care. You look at it and you say, well, if you were so good, why you single now? But listen, you can either find out what to do or what not to do. Amen? But you better start listening to these more seasoned ladies. Listen, she committed herself, but then she complied in verse 6. It says she went down onto the floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law bade her. Yeah, she complied with her mother-in-law's advice. And listen, Ruth is commanded to leave the place where she is residing and get me down to the floor. Yeah, to the threshing floor. And if she was never going to rest at the feet of Boaz, she would have to be committed enough to the idea to leave where she was to go where he was.
All right.
And listen, you can't tell a lot of our young women anything these days. Well, let me help you out. I suppose that for some young women of those days, that you couldn't tell anything to me. But listen, a taught lesson is better than a thought lesson any day. I said a taught lesson is better than a thought lesson any day. If you ain't got to go through it, if you don't have to have those scars, if you don't have to have those bruises and those heartaches, then go on and listen to them while they teaching you something. But she was committed. She committed herself, she complied, but then she conquered softly. Look at verse 7. It says, and when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of corn, and she came softly. She came softly, y'all. Listen, in verse 4, Naomi counsels Ruth to wait until Boaz is alone and finished with his public business before she approaches him with her request. Now listen, this is not to be a public spectacle. It's not to, but it is to be a private communion. And listen, in other words, she is not to make a scene in public and put him on the spot or put him on blast. She is to wait until she can meet with him in private. Meet with him in private. Listen, ladies, I got to tell you, there's a way to approach your man. Amen. Listen, it's probably not good to approach him with a request when he walks in the door from a hard day's of work. Help somebody. Amen. But what you might want to do is make sure that you're smelling good. Make sure you got on some womanly clothes. Make sure that you can get him showered and make sure you got some food. He said that he drank and was merry. Hello, somebody. Get him full, and you smelling good, and then it said that she laid at his feet. She laid at his feet because this showed that she was humble, and it showed that she would be in submission to him. And then, listen, we see that she committed herself, she complied, she conquered softly. But listen, after Ruth's acceptance and doing her actions, look at Boaz's assurance. We finna go home. Look at Boaz's assurance. Listen, it says in verse 8, and it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself, and behold, a woman lay at his feet. Listen, at midnight, listen, he was comfortable, y'all. He had ate, he had drank, he was sleeping, he was comfortable. And then at midnight it says that she awoke him because something was different that night than it had been other nights. Because she was laying at his feet. Listen, she was smelling good. She was looking good. Oh, help me somebody. And something was different, and I'm sure she was feeling warm, and he felt something at his feet. And it was at midnight, y'all. Y'all hear me? It was at midnight. Listen, great things happen at midnight. It says at midnight, Paul and Silas prayed and sang, and the gates of the jail flung open. At midnight, y'all, at midnight they cried, the cry rang out that the bridegroom has come out to meet the bride. It was at midnight, y'all, that about midnight that Paul, when they had shipwrecked and they were looking for some land, it says at midnight the sailors sensed that they were approaching land. I'm telling y'all, some good things happened at midnight. Listen, and you got to understand, y'all know yourself that if you call somebody after 10 o'clock and they not your husband or your wife, you know what time it is. But listen, she was going in to be his wife. And so at midnight, he woke up and he was comfortable. But then, not only that, he was complimentary. Look at verse 10. Look at verse 10. Now, brothers, I got to help you too. It says, stop letting your woman walk around looking good and you never tell her she look good. Come on, somebody. She's walking around smelling good. You don't ever say, baby, I sure love what you got on today. If the kids wasn't here, I'll tell you something else to do. But listen, you got to compliment your woman. To me this morning, because if you don't compliment her, I guarantee it's somebody else out there. It's just rare to give her a compliment. You better compliment your woman. Listen what he says. He says, blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast showed more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning. But look at this. In so much as thou followest not young men, whether poor or rich. I got to deal with that just a little bit, y'all. Because basically what he's saying is, I appreciate the fact that you haven't been like McDonald's with over 1 million served. Help somebody. You haven't been that revolving door. I'm trying to help somebody here. Listen, you have carried yourself in a respectable manner. And like so many young girls, Stephenson, some of y'all know who she is, the video vixen. She says, like so many young girls, I grew up wanting to be famous. I used to watch television and dream about the Beverly Hills lifestyle seen in all my favorite films. She says, but I reached most of my goals, but I didn't do it the conventional way. I did it using the oldest trick in the book. And y'all know what that was. I ain't going further, but listen, I got to tell somebody here that the top reason a woman finds herself in a rap video sprawled, undressed over a luxury car while a rapper is saying lewd things about her is a lack of self-esteem. Listen, this starts out early. Fathers, we got to compliment our daughters. We got to show them what it means for a man to love them and to provide for them and let them know that you ain't got to give up nothing to get something. Listen, I got to tell you that nobody wants a lady of the night. Hello, somebody. Not for a wife. And nobody wants to turn a lady of the night into a housewife. And see, listen, maybe I can break it down a little bit more. Listen, brothers, you might know about this. Once you strip a bolt or a nut, you can't use it anymore. It ain't no more good. Because listen, what's going to happen is that nut, that bolt is just going to keep on getting loose. And it won't hold nothing together. Y'all better hear me. And you need a tight fit if you want things to stay together. But listen, he was comfortable. He was complimentary.